For nearly a decade, you've been asking Jason questions. But did anyone think to fact check this guy? This is the Audit Jason Show. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Piercy, and this is the Audit Jason Show, where I still get to control the message, because even if I don't like what I said 10 years ago, I guess I could just double down on it, and you would never know that it was wrong unless you asked literally anybody else. However, in this episode, we're watching a Q&A that I filmed with somebody who had blogged a big renovation here locally and has since become like a legit YouTube superstar. So Becky and Chris, who are, I'll put a thing up here for their channel because they're amazing. And we just have Becky, and we're talking about a reno and doing like a Q&A sort of thing, which is really cool. So I don't know how I'm supposed to audit this, just like be in awe at the young, fresh-faced Becky Beckham, who is now like a superstar, was then too, but just more people know it besides just me and Director Joe now and whoever read their blog. So let's just probably mostly just watch this one because it's cool and she's cool and Chris is cool. So yeah, let's do it. You good, Joe? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let me get myself organized here. This deserves a full screen, doesn't it, Joe? Okay, here we go.
On this episode, this badass chick stops by.
I'm taking over on the Ask Jason Show.
This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them.
What'd you say?
Get that a little closer. The mic seems a little low.
Oh, yeah? Good?
This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Piercy, and this is episode, I just spit everywhere. This is episode number
18.
of the Ask.
I mean, cool. I think that is funny. I like my beard here. I need to get that beard back. I think my beard looks good here, and I also need a haircut. I miss that jacket. What am I doing? This is not the point. Let's watch. That was funny. 18. That's my voice. Is it my voice? I think it's my voice. I don't know. If it's not me, it's you.
Yes,
it's got to be me. Yeah, okay, cool.
Jason Show. Don't I look handsome? I'm so well dressed today. I have lots of friends. Joe, are these in scene? Yeah, okay. Got lots of friends. We're hanging out with Facebook Live, and we're also hanging out with, and you can see it right here, my good friend and YouTube blogger extraordinaire, Becky Peckham. Can you see her, guys? She's right in there. And we're going to talk today about...
The
let's
pillow
just
is awesome.
Ask it as a question. It's the
Artsy
Ask Jason
design.
Show.
The
question
it's
is,
funny.
is it a good idea, if you're a first-time home buyer, to buy a home with the intention of renovating it? Like, is that an undertaking that is acceptable for first-time home buyers? I did this with my first home. However, I'm older than Beck, and it was a while ago when I did it. She did it much more recently, and so I'm diverting this question to her because she's kind of in that space, a design blog, bought a house, put a lot of effort into it, and is a bit of a YouTube sensation.
I miss Becky.
You're really funny, and
Thank
you do
you.
like the Newfoundland old lady voice, and I really enjoy that.
I'm
so that's
glad.
good.
She knows the name.
So I have actually 3 questions for you. I'm going to move Instagram over to you, or Facebook, sorry. Can we see here? There we go. So here are the questions. First, in buying and renovating your first property as a first-time home buyer, what was the easiest part?
But I asked the question, and then we didn't talk about it. Like, I was like, was it, this is a poor place to pause. I'm sorry, Beck. She's like, my bad. I'm sorry. I asked like what if it's advisable for first time home buyers to buy something to renovate, and then we didn't even address it. I assume maybe we'll get to it later. I don't know. Anyway, this pillow is funny. Artsy design slogan in tightly curtained Helvetica. I like it. That's cool.
Easiest part to buying and renovating the house was designing it, really. Like, even though that was like a little bit challenging compared to the rest of the process, designing the space was probably the easiest thing. Figuring out what the paint colors were, what type of furniture we wanted, what style we wanted to go with, that was probably the easiest thing.
I'm going to call that the soft skills, if you consider the execution of the work. But I guess that makes sense, being a bit of a design blogger, that kind of adds up for you. Okay, so for you, that part was fun, I guess. Like challenging but fun, sense of accomplishment. You see the space come together, and that adds up. Okay.
See that like in retrospect, if I were doing this question and answer, this sort of interview with Becky now about the same sort of thing, I would not ask that question, because in retrospect, that's a really, really obvious question. Like, hey, designer, when you renovated this house, what was your favorite part? The designing part. Like, you know, hey, framer, when you built this house, what part was the easiest for you? It was the framing. Oh, yeah, okay, plumber. Like, of course, obviously, I should have asked a better question. I'm sorry, Becky, you're way more smart and capable than that lob I just sent you.
Your interviewing skills have improved a lot, though.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Director Joe decided to throw in that my interviewing skills have improved a lot, which I think is true.
The hardest part was the execution. In terms of rooms, I think our basement was really challenging because it was like hauling everything back to the studs. We had to put in insulation, vapor barrier. That Black Death stuff will be the death of me. The acoustic sealant is the worst. And then, we had dry.
That's very, very true. I don't know if a lot of people know what this is. So acoustic sealant is the stuff that you would use to stick your vapor barrier, like a however many mil poly plastic sheet vapor barrier, over your insulation so that there's no moisture can pass through. And to get an air seal around places, people often use acoustic sealant, and it's like it's in a tube like caulking, and it's I hate you, Joe. It's in a caulking tube, and when it comes out, it's really sticky. But like most glue, right, would dry over time and cure. This stuff doesn't get hard. It doesn't dry out or cure or get hard. It stays soft and really, really sticky. And it's very hard to get off of your hands or your clothes, or God forbid you got some of this out of the caulking tube in your hair, you'd have to shave your head. Like, it's so difficult to work with. And that's what she's referring to, acoustic sealant. And anyway, what's wrong, Joe? What a child.
Plastering, subfloor, trim, like the whole deal. So that was pretty crazy. Also living through it, because we made the stupid decision to move in to our house.
Decision.
Worst idea. Don't ever do it.
Yeah, terrible
So we
decision.
moved in like the first night, tore out our kitchen the next morning, and then lived in absolute hell for 6 months while we tried to put our living room and our kitchen back together. It was brutal.
Yeah. So I have one more question that I told you I was going to ask ahead of time, and then I'm going to ask you one that I didn't tell you I was going to ask ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay? Are you ready? So here's the one you knew was coming. What was the most surprising thing? What's the thing you didn't expect?
I didn't expect to be a victim of contractor fraud. That legit, like, that's some legit shit.
Way to bring it down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Having fun. We were having
Sorry.
fun. Thanks, Beck.
Sorry. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer.
I forgot about
But
this.
it's the truth. It's something that you don't expect to happen to you. You see it happen on TV all the time. And you're like, oh, that's never going to happen. And, I watch a lot of HGTV. And I'm sure people who are into kind of home renovations probably do watch a lot of that. You go in expecting that you're going to need to do your roof, or that you're probably going to have a leak, or, you go in expecting to find problems. Anytime you renovate an old house, you're going to find something in the walls.
If I could just tag what she's saying there, I think when it comes to the applying what you learn when you watch stuff on HGTV, applying what you learn into the real world as a DIYer, so as somebody who wants to do it themselves. That point, I think, is the most valuable thing that you will learn from watching reality TV about home renovations. That you're going to find stuff you don't expect. It's going to cost more money than you think, and when you open up the wall, it is definitely not what you thought it was going to be behind it. There's going to be wires. There's going to be structure. There's going to be mechanical. Almost everything else that you learn from HGTV is for show. And it's a good show and it's entertaining, but it creates a false confidence in people who can DIY. And what Becky just said is, I think, the most valuable thing you can get from watching these reality TV shows. Expect it to be harder than you think it will be, and way harder than they make it look on TV, because it does take 6+ months, like Beck said. It does. It takes a long time. What is wrong with me?
The biggest one was the contractor fraud. So basically what had happened was, when we bought our house, the guy said, you probably got 2 to 3 years left on your roof. We woke up one morning and there was a huge puddle on our living room floor. And so this had happened in the kitchen as well. And so we were like, oh my God, okay, so I guess it's time to get the roof replaced. So that kind of sucked. We called in a roofing company who somebody I knew had already worked with before, so we thought that they would be legit and everything would be fine. So they did our roof in a day. We paid them. I think it was about $5,000 plus the materials that we bought. And then a year later, we have water flowing into our kitchen again, and then into our living room, and then into our upstairs bedroom. And so we were like, what the hell is going on? So we send my uncle, who helped us with our renovation, like he was kind of like our go-to contractor guy. So we sent him up to have a look and see what was going on. So when he peeled back the shingles, there was no waterproofing membrane. And the wood underneath the shingles was starting to rot. So that really sucked. We tried reaching out to him. There was no answer. So this went on for like 2 or 3 years. So we just had to call in another company and get the roof redone again. Everything was pretty shagged up, we'll say.
Thanks for using the word shagged.
Yeah, thanks for using the word shagged. I've met Becky before. That's not the word she always would use. I'm trying to get my head around that, because you do need an ice and water like shield down towards the bottom, towards the eave, when you're doing a shingled roof. I don't know what waterproofing membrane specifically she's referring to, because you're not required to put it, or this time, you weren't required to cover the whole roof sheeting with a waterproofing membrane and then shingle over it. Like in comments or wherever, like tell me if I'm wrong. That's my understanding of it. I would rather be wrong, because then this makes sense and I learned something new. But I'm having a hard time putting that together. I don't really know why. And that was here in St. John's in Newfoundland. And in a day, you could strip shingles and put shingles on in a day. I know the house she's talking about wasn't a real big roof, straight 2 gables on a side split. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we will keep going. Sorry if I that up.
Because Mom might be watching. I don't know. You watching, Mom? Sometimes Mom watches. Yeah. Anyway.
I have a bit of a swearing problem, so I apologize.
Yeah, I do too. I try to keep it tame. I'm gonna ask myself the same questions real quick. Really quickly. For me, the most fun part was actually shopping for the property. I wasn't a realtor at the time, so going out and looking for the place and being analytical about this cost plus these things, because I grew up in and around construction, like all my father, all of his brothers, my grandfather, they're all contractors. So that was fun for me, doing that part. The hardest part for me was admitting that though I grew up in it, I was not capable of doing it myself, and I had to pull back and hire somebody. That was the hardest part for me, admitting that I was not the guy.
Interesting. Because since then, I have done that twice, and I'm currently still doing it. And I'm using this phrase because because of the consistency, like it echoes. It's the same sort of theme. Now I am the guy. I am the guy now. So that's kind of interesting to me. Like and this part is only for me, really. And also, I guess for Sam, if you're watching, isn't it nice that I'm the guy and that I can do these things and that, Sam's my fiance, the mother of my son, Waylon, and really good at painting. She's a really good painter. Great steady hand for cutting. Really good. Anyway, I'm the guy now. And it's something that I feel really proud of. And now that I'm saying it, it makes me feel much more closely connected to my roots, to my family, and specifically my father. Because him and I worked like tag teamed a bunch of the projects that we did. And maybe someday I'll do a little thing about the renovation that we're still doing. I think that would be cool. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't the guy then, and it was hard to admit that. Now I like to admit when I'm not the guy because it's not about having to be the guy all the time. It's really much more about knowing a guy, which is why I don't edit my videos anymore.
Could not do it, and that's coincidentally around the time I grew a beard. Like, I gotta be a man somehow. And what I did not expect, I didn't expect that houses that were built at that time, they'd fill the concrete foundation with, like, boulders. Now they just, like, mix in crushed stone and stuff.
I remember
Just, like,
this.
big old chunks. So I had to cut out a window through the concrete and had to get a concrete saw. I did not expect that. So that's what we did back then. And that's all that I have to say. Do you have anything you want to add?
That's true.
Sorry for being such a downer about my roof issue. I'm happy now. It's all covered.
That is all for today. Thank you
That was
very
a
much.
weird
Thanks
edit,
for
Joe.
tuning in. Thanks for watching.
You
Thanks
just did
for
a
coming.
weird edit,
Thanks for
man.
coming. And until next time.
Such a weird edit, in
On
fact.
this episode, I'm taking over on the Ask Jason Show. Ask Jason Show. Jason Piercy, and I'm on the Ask Jason Show. Wow. What up?
She's so awesome, man. I miss
This
her.
episode.
I miss her. I say I miss her like she's alive. Like they live in the States in Buffalo at last check actually, and they still do YouTube. Her husband Chris, who was a big part of that renovation, is also he's a doctor, a physician. He's a specialist. He does interventional radiology. Yeah, so like radiology means like x-rays and stuff, but interventional radiology is like he'll go through tiny little pieces of wire up into your brain or whatever, or maybe not your brain, parts of your body, and use radiology to, why am I doing this? I don't know, it's Grover. Near, far. Sort of what, I don't know why I was doing that. Anyway, and they also own a helicopter, and they fly around and make videos in their helicopter with their friends, and they're buddies with some of the biggest YouTube stars that there are, and it's really cool. Why are you going in there? Whirly bird. Actually, it's called the Millennium Falcon. That's what, the Millennium Falcon. That's what he called his helicopter. It's an R-32? I don't know. I'm sorry. I should know. Anyway, that's that whole episode. That's cool. I'm gonna put some links down to Becky and Chris just because they're awesome people. And if I can find like some of their old blog stuff about that house, I'll see if I can link that up too. And I'll try and tag him as a collaborator here. If I were them, I wouldn't accept. Probably not. But maybe I'll fire off a text and see what they're doing. I miss them. They're such good people. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I don't have anything to add to that. That's it. Other than maybe we have the motivation, Joe, to do something about my house and my renovation. I've documented a great deal of it, not all of it, but I got a bunch of photos and videos, and maybe we can figure something out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Ask Becky Show.